Alrighty guys, we are back with the right side of Autumn of Agony Gauntlet. This time around it's going to be a 4-point run. There's going to be 1 point for completion, 1 for Metal Champions, 1 for non-saga, and also 1 is going to be for a team composition of Mutant, Tech, and Skill. My team is going to be an Archangel, Guardian, and Ironheart. Now I have given you Saga and non-saga options on the right side, so depending on what objective you want to attempt, you can go for that. I already did the left path with cheese options. If you haven't checked that video, check it out. And that was with Saga Champions. So this is non-saga, and the first fight is going to be against Jabari Panther. I am using an Ascended Archangel here. Now the nodes are going to be Always Forward, Diversion, Vital Strikes, Scrub Clean, Staggering Beauty, and Special Burst Lockdown with Second Wind. So ideally you would like to use champions here who can bypass that miss, and that will work well here. But Archangel is an exception because when he gets those neurotoxins up, he can literally bypass everything. Now if you haven't done the saga objectives yet, the best cheese here is going to be your Serpent. He is going to just run through Jabari Panther with that miss counter and should be good to go. Now specifically to Archangel, what I'm trying to do here, I'm just trying to parry and activate the Second Wind and wait for that stun immunity to go during her frenzy. Once that is out, I can use my parry and heavy attacks to apply those neurotoxins. Now this is a bit RNG based, so in the start of the fight, if you're not able to get some neurotoxins, it's okay, you can restart. The goal is to get at least 2 to 3 neurotoxins in the beginning of the fight. Keep parrying until you see a parry stick. That's my approach here with Jabari Panther. And whenever the falter is going to be activated, if the frenzy is not active on Jabari Panther, you can create a distance, let the falter be activated on Jabari Panther, and just use your heavy attack. So when I say frenzy, I mean the Huntress mode. If the Huntress mode is not active, she is going to miss while the falter is on her. You could use it to your advantage to throw a heavy attack. Even if she throws a SP1, you can block all of it, and at the SP1 you can throw your heavy attack. The animation delay is there, and as soon as I get an SP1, I throw it out because I am trying to keep those neurotoxins up. So right here, using a striker. So my whole focus here is to just make sure I throw my heavy attacks and I keep getting those neurotoxins up. Wherever I can get a chance, I'm going to throw my SP1. I'm going to create a distance to have a falter on Jabari Panther, and a Hunter's mode is not active. I'm going to let her miss at me, and then during the miss I'm going to throw a heavy attack again, and slowly you can take out Jabari Panther. It might take you like a couple of tries to get the good RNG, but once you get it, you are able to take down Jabari Panther with your Archangel. Now this next fight is going to be a doozy. Now this is probably the harder fight in this part, probably the hardest one. That is going to be Cassie Lang. So if you remember when we did it previously, Cassie Lang goes through 2 cycles of one is evade cycle and one is the miss cycle on special attacks. That you can check with an icon with the timer underneath Cassie Lang's bar. Now you can counter that by getting your own buff. Whenever you will parry, you will get 2 kinds of buffs with the node Bust a Groove. So the first time you will parry, you will get vigilance on you, and that will help you bypass the miss from Cassie Lang. Now the second time you're going to parry, we're going to parry it right now. Let's try it out. You are going to get Pursuit passive. That Pursuit passive is going to bypass any evade on Cassie Lang. Also, if you bring in a champion that has a natural counter to evade or miss, that is going to help you for this fight. So for example, if you bring in a Serpent, he has both, he can bypass both, so he's going to work really well for this fight. You can also use Quicksilver because I think at 600 momentum he goes miss immune, and same for Prowler, he also works. The whole kind of loop for this fight is always have your Pursuit passive up and keep hitting the opponent, and whenever you're about to throw a special attack, change your Pursuit passive into Vigilance while she is in miss mode, and make sure that you have your hit counter to 10 so you can remove that painful retreat power sting and then throw a special attack. And also another annoying node is going to be Crush Revolution. So if you dash back twice in 1.2 seconds, you are going to get a crush debuff on you, and when Cassie Lang hits you in your block, she's going to break your block and you're going to get hit. So this fight really tests your patience, and probably the hardest fight in the whole path. Now for non-saga options, you are going to use Ironheart. There's also Mega Sentinel. You can also use NorthStar, and you can also use Magneto, because Cassie Lang is going to be a metal champion, so Magneto Red works here. Now this fight is not more about your skill than about the defender, that how you're gonna deal with it, because you need to keep a good balance of pursuit passive and vigilance passive, keeping an eye on Cassie Lang's miss counter. So let me try and explain it well with the live gameplay here. So now she's at SP2. Now dash back twice. I have Crush Evolution, so I'm not gonna block her. Now I don't have Crush debuff. I tried to parry, failed there. You will notice on a heavy attack, I only have to dash back once and then wait for it. Only on the last hit I will dash back again to avoid that Crush debuff on me. Now I have an SP3. It doesn't matter if I am in Pursuit passive or if I am in Vigilance. I can just throw my SP3. It's a guaranteed hit, and it will drain Cassie Lang of all of her power and help me create space so I can dash back without worrying to getting into the wall. Now right here, Pursuit passive, she's in miss mode. I don't need to worry about the evade. So remember, during the evade phase, she's going to evade basic attacks, and during the miss phase, she's going to miss special attacks. So if you still have your pursuit passive up while she is in her miss phase, that's fine. You can still do your basic attacks. So what I like to do is I start a fight and I start with one parry and have my pursuit passive up, and I keep it throughout both the phases. Only when I need to throw a special attack, I'm near a multiple of 10 combo attack hits, I change with the parry to vigilance and then throw my SP2 out. Now with Ironheart, if you have 5 of those debuffs on the opponent, you do get a counter to miss. But the problem here is there is another node that reduces the timing on all of those debuffs. So on the kit, Ironheart can counter miss, but because of the node, those debuffs are removed faster, so you're not able to keep up those debuffs and counter the miss. But if you bring in other champions, like for example Serpent, or for example like Prowler, who can counter the miss, this fight is much easier. All you need to do is to keep the pursuit up. Don't dash back twice to get the crush debuff on you, and then you can use your special attacks without worrying about the vigilance. So there is a lot to look into this fight. It will take a bit of practice for you to get through it. I wish there was a cheese champion I could tell you, but the best cheese champion I can think about is Serpent, because he can counter the miss and he can counter the evade. So remember, 4 things you have to take care about. The basic attack evades in the evade phase, the special miss attack miss in the miss phase. There's going to be a crush debuff, and there's also going to be a power sting. Don't dash back twice to avoid the crush, and make sure you add multiple of 10 and your combo meter to remove the power sting before you throw a special attack. So there's a lot going on this fight, but with a bit of practice and with a bit of understanding of the fight, you can get through it. Even if it costs you like 3 or 4 revives, that's okay. You can take down 25% in one go and you should be good. The rewards are worth it, so don't worry about the revives. 3 to 4 revives can help you get through this fight. Now moving on to fight number 3, there is a shared fight with Heimdall. Now this fight we also discussed this last time. So the way this fight works, the nodes are going to be Assault Battery, Brace for Impact, Cold Feet, Heavy Hitter, Matador, Under Pressure, and Defender Bias. So whenever you will try to do any damage to Heimdall, all of the damage is going to be stored in a battery that you see in the purple icon, and that will only be dealt to the defender or the attacker when either of them is knocked down. But to knock down Heimdall, there is an unstoppable, so you cannot knock him down with the end of a special attack or with a basic attack, so you have to disable that unstoppable. To disable that unstoppable, you have to hit him during his animation of his heavy attack, and that's where the trouble lies. That's why this fight becomes really tough if you don't have the right champions. Now, if you had doing Saga, and there are two cheese options, you can use a Silk, you can also use Dragon Man. Both of them have their slows built in, and they are easily can kill off Heimdall. Another option that works really well if you're doing non-Saga, it's going to be your Chioth, and there's also going to be your Beta Ray build. Both of them had that grit buff, and they can bypass the unstoppable with easy knockdowns. Now, if you're somebody like me who's doing a specific metal objective, I'm going to use Guardian. Now, at first glance, it looks like Guardian can't take this fight, but Guardian is amazing. One, because he does not crit, so the damage stored is less. So even if you get hit, it's not going. If you get knocked down, the damage is not going to be much. You're going to have a chance to get up and play again. You're not going to die in one heavy attack. And secondly, I can just easily throw 3 SP3s, build up to 22 charges, and in 1 SP2 I can kill Heimdall, because all the damage is done with the big SP2 and there's a knockdown right after. So now you will see, don't blink it, you will miss it. Right there, look at that damage. 1.5 million and Heimdall is down. So he is kind of a cheese if you play it right. And the last fight is going to be against a NorthStar. Now with NorthStar, he has power shield, so he's going to only take damage with specials. Basic attacks will not do any kind of damage. The nodes are going to be Fist of the NorthStar, Power Shield, Bubble Shield, Unnatural Selection, Insurance Policy, and Powerful. So he is going to have power efficiency, so he's going to throw a lot of special attacks. And you will notice at the end of specials, he's going to have Untouchable. So the only way you can deal damage to NorthStar is going to be with special attacks, but the problem is that you need to be dashing in that animation to throw any kind of specials, otherwise you are power locked. You will notice I'm power locked right now, but as soon as I dash in, I'm able to throw a special right there. So that split of a second is the only way you can throw your specials. But another problem is that NorthStar can give you openings only after he throws an SP1. So you need a counter, you need a miss counter. I've given you quite a bit of counters, like really Serpent really destroys him. Also, somebody like Prowler will also destroy him. A non-Saga option, Ironheart, is amazing with their SP1. If you keep stacking those and you keep stacking those Incinerates, they work also really well. And you can just simply use your SP1s, and those Incinerates will do damage with Power Shield as well, because they are through a special attack. And every now and then if you can get an SP2, that also works. Now I would suggest you to keep him to an SP1 only, because the SP2 is really annoying to deal with and does a lot of damage with all of those prowesses. It might be a bit hard to control that, but yeah, if you play slow enough, you should be able to bait those SP1s out. So right here I have 14 of those debuffs. So right now it's super easy. At the end of the special attacks, he goes untouchable, so I cannot hit him for 2 to 3 seconds because of miss. But because I'm using an Ironheart and I have more than 5 debuffs, I have him marked, so I don't need to worry about the miss. I can just go in without even worrying about a thing. So yeah, Ironheart make this fight super easy. So again, before I leave, we attempted the metal objective, then we attempted the non-saga, and then 1 point for completion, and then 1 point for a team composition of tech, mutant, and skill. So that was our last run. We were able to get all the 7 points needed. If you haven't checked out my other video, that is on the left side part, that is much easier. That is with the Chiefs with only 2 champions, so you can check that out. And if you're going to use Saga champion here, you can use a Serpent, you can use a Quicksilver, you can also use a Count Nefaria. All of them work. For non-Saga options, you can use Omega Sentinel, she bypasses miss. You can use Ironheart, and you can also use your NorthStar versus NorthStar. That could be a fun mirror match as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be able to help you out and answer as many questions, or the amazing community will help you out as well and share what champions they used. So I'll see you on the next one. It's probably going to be a Paragon Gauntlet, and then we will get back to all of those Necropolis Karina challenges that we have been all waiting for. I had a very bad mutant roster, so I've just fixed the roster and I'll be attempting the mutant challenge soon. See you on the next video, guys. Bye.